Good afternoon, everyone. It is June 4th. How's everyone doing today? I accidentally closed my browser here, so I have to start over. So, it took me 10 hours yesterday to beat my damn universal joints out. Very, very sore today from it. And finally got the shit done. And so, you see, a job that shouldn't take a very long time ended up taking me for a whole day plus a couple hours today. That just goes to show you that if I was in a situation where I had to get the fuck out of here real fast, I would have been screwed. Oh. So, there's a bunch of shit going on. For example, the Bilderberg meeting. No, don't get me wrong. The Bilderbergs, they're not the very top of the pyramid. They're close. I suppose Jacob Rothschild does attend these meetings sometimes, and those folks, but the group they belong to, I believe, is above the Bilderberg. They kind of tell the Bilderbergs what to talk about, and each year, how they can be more control freakish than they already are. So that's going on, or went on. I'm not sure if it's still happening or not. I've been busy with my own damn problems, I guess. No, I just got through listening to a video by BP Earthwatch. I'm not going to badmouth the guy, but he really is drinking the status Kool-Aid. Pray for the police. Why the fuck would I want to pray for them? See, he doesn't understand that they are the wall between the people and the ruling class. He doesn't understand that even if Trump is anti-globalism or, America first, even if he is what he says he is, he's still a statist, and he still does statist shit that that ultimately will get more American people killed by the police. See, he's one of those conservatives that is heavily brainwashed to the right side of the coin, so to speak, or the bird, the right wing. And as I've said before, both wings represent control. And I don't particularly like the idea of people thinking they have the right to choose for me, to choose anything. They think they have the right to kill you if you even think about trying to say you don't consent, you'll see just how quickly consent's actually compulsion here in the United States. There is no consent. It does not exist. It's a myth, like white privilege. So, a lot of shit going on. The economy continues to nosedive, which I'm going to go ahead and get into that one right now. Plus, there's been new rhetoric of Vladimir Putin and other Russian oligarchs that, well, let's just put it this way. They will use thermonuclear weapons in the very early stages of the war with us because they believe that they have their troop-to-troop ratio is bad, meaning NATO outnumbers the Russians. So instead of sending their guys to be slaughtered, they use thermonuclear weapons on NATO early on to save the lives of their own people. So, that's something we need to really keep our eyes on. Just, remember how Donald Trump promised a normal or better relationship with Russia. It really has not gotten any better. I dare say, in the background, it actually has gotten worse. The relationship. So, something to look for. So this is 12 signs the economy or economic slowdown the experts have been warning about is now here. By Michael Snyder, June 1st. I'm just going to do the 12 signs so you don't have to hear me butcher people's names and shit like that for too long. Hopefully there's no crazy ass names in here for me to read. Ugh. Sorry about that. My water was a little out of my reach. Okay, so these are 12 economic signs that say the shit's here. Oh, damn it. Alright. According to Challenger, this is number one. According to Challenger, the number of job cuts in May was 71% higher than it was in May of 2016. Number two, we just witnessed the third worst drop in U.S. construction spending in the last 6 years. Number three, U.S. manufacturing PMI fell to an 8-month low in May. Financial stocks have lost all their did I say number 3? Number 3, U.S. manufacturing PMI fell to an 8-month low in May. 4, financial stocks have lost all their gains for the year, and some analysts are saying that this is a terrible sign. 5, one new survey has found that 39% of all millionaires plan to avoid investing in the coming month. That is the highest figure has been since December, I think it's 2013. Jobless claims, number 6. Jobless claims shot up to a 5-week high of 248,000. Number 7. General Motors just reported another sales decline in May, and it is being reported that the company may be preparing for more job cuts at its American factories. I go too far. Number 8. After an initial bump after Donald Trump's surprise election day victory, U.S. consumer confidence is starting to fall. 9. Since Memorial Day, Radio Shack has officially shut down more than 8,000 stores. Number 10. Payless has just increased the number of stores that it plans to close to about 300 or 800. 11. According to the Los Angeles Times, it is being projected that 25% of all shopping malls in the United States may be closed within the next 5 years. That's a lot of shit. 12. Over the past 12 months, the number of homeless people living in Los Angeles County has risen a staggering 23%. I don't expect the country to last another 5 years the way things are going. Do you? I think that 25% will end up being way, way higher than that. Especially if the bottom falls out and the credit comes to a grinding halt. And that's the one thing that we are looking for, is credit coming to a screeching halt. When that happens, that is when everything, all the dominoes start falling one at a time, one right after another. Bam, bam, bam. So, be watching for that, because it's bound to happen sooner rather than later. I would go through this list of 100 things that liberals hate about America, but a lot of them he really repeated himself. It wasn't a real thought out article, I didn't think. But this BP Earthwatch, man, he's something else. When Donald Trump was running for office, he would get mad in his comment section if anyone said anything negative about Donald Trump. Now, you're a seriously brainwashed statist if you want to deny other Americans their freedom of speech because your opinion of what they're talking about is different. And that's exactly what he did. So, oh no. These people that claim to be about freedom they must have serious cognitive dissonance, because things like police and freedom are not, they're opposed to each other. As I said before, they cannot both exist in the same time and space. And until conservatives realize this, they're going to continue to follow any motherfucker that has a slick tongue, just like the Democrats do. Fuck, Hillary Clinton didn't even have a slick tongue. She was a lousy speaker, and the Democrats followed that cunt. So, I don't know, some of the feminists out there that might stumble across this might freak out because I used the C word about a woman, but that's what she is. Alright, so check out these headlines. While the media used Bill Maher as a distraction, Trump quietly covered up U.S. war crimes. Yeah. Why does that not surprise me? It's the actions of a statist. But here's the deal. When our country does something like that, it's not a war crime. But when Russia, China, or any other country on the face of the earth that's not aligned with us kills or does war crimes, perceived war crimes, that's exactly what it's called. You know, they have one set of standards for themselves, and then a whole new set of standards for everyone else, including their own citizens. You know, they can engage in cocaine trafficking and child prostitution, but fuck, man, if a citizen gets caught with a plant, in a lot of places, you're seriously fucked. And you know what plant I'm talking about. Student suit after entire high school illegally groped and molested by cops. See, their overstep just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. When are we going to say we've had enough of these fucking authoritarian monsters and stomp them out? It's the best thing we could ever do for ourselves, is get rid of the state. The state is the very, very center of everyone's biggest problems, and until you fail to realize, or until you realize that, you're failing to see the bigger picture. They don't want plants like this accessible to the public. Used as last resort, doctors cure 11-year-old girls' fatal disease with cannabis in only 3 doses. You can't have the public fixing themselves, can you? Then where would the money, what would the medical industry do then? The big pharmaceutical industry, the hospitals, the doctors. Former inmates comes out of hiding to expose multi-murder conspiracy by Florida jail. Of course. Of course. I told you, the county jails are borderline concentration camps. And when people start dying in them, like they have been for a while, they become actual concentration camps. A lot of these people haven't even been proven guilty. And this is the things that are happening to them. There's no due process. They just get executed there in the jail. That is a concentration camp. Look at this shit. We keep giving fucking Saudi Arabia military support. They commit the worst atrocities, export the most terrorists, and it's just fucking unbelievable. There's your freedom right there. Man jailed for 180 days for refusing to give police his iPhone password. There's your freedom. That guy is a criminal in the eyes of many, many idiots out there because he did this. You shouldn't have to give your fucking phone password to the police. It's none of their damn business what's in your phone. Now, is it? Deutsche Bank trader just admitted guilt. Mega banks conspired to break markets. Of course they did. Parent sue as video shows cops stomp, taser, and suffocate their son to death. Can you imagine being those parents and watching that video? All because some fucking cocksucker, statist, son of a bitch, that thinks he's God Almighty because he rides around in a car with lights on top. He carries a gun everywhere he goes and wears a uniform given to him by his slave masters so that he can feel like he has a penis. But I digress. Sorry about that. I mean, they don't even give a fuck, man. They just kill your children right in the school. But the police are good guys. BP Earthwatch. Oh, I know. He had autism, and he backtalked the officer and made his penis shrivel up inside him, right? Is that what happened? And I know the officers were just trying to get a nice feel for the hot little high school chicks, you know, and so he lined up everybody. They lined up everybody so no one would tell that's what was going on, grabbing their little boobs and everything. But you know, they're the heroes in uniform. I don't know. I'm a bad guy for saying that are being sarcastic about our so-called heroes in uniform. Undoubtedly, some statists will stumble across the video and make their stupid little statist comments and think that their stupid little statist comments actually make any fucking sense whatsoever, when they don't. I mean, how can you give consent and not be able to withdraw consent? And if you can't withdraw consent, isn't that compulsion? And more than that, the consequences you face for withdrawing consent and standing by that shit is death, or prison, or both. What about the cop that lured the dog out of a fenced-in backyard and killed him? And what the fuck? It's like we live in the land of sociopaths, and the sociopath part of the population is supporting their fellow sociopaths in uniform. I mean, if you could actually believe that institutions that allow other people to do things like lure dogs out of fenced in backyards and killing them, things such as groping high school girls to get a free fill, things like the tasering and strangling the death of that kid. If you can actually say that these are good things for our society with a straight face, and the people that are doing it are good men and women in uniform, you're a fucking statist, and you are asleep. They're robbing individuals of their rights, their due process, and then you have the nerve to get up and promote individuals that destroy your rights, and then turn around and say that you're for freedom. You can't be for both, man. It just doesn't work that way. And if you are, or say that you're for both, you've got a serious argument going on inside of your head every day that you preach the shit that you preach. The only acceptable organization for our modern societies is anarcho-capitalism, voluntarism, where everything is voluntary. You're not forced at gunpoint to consent to being robbed by road pirates, maybe raped, maybe killed, maybe kidnapped, or whatever other fucking thing they can think of at that particular moment in time. That is not being rolled by your consent. That is being rolled forcefully, without consent. Again, you can't give something and not or give something like that and withdraw it If you can't withdraw your consent, it's not consent. I mean, he can justify the violence to the citizens of this country all he wants, and same with every other state is. But the bottom line is, I don't have a right to delegate authorities to people I don't have in the first place, and neither do they. So, I've said it before, stateism is the most dangerous religion on the planet. It is not radical Islam. Although, they do some crazy shit, but really, the biggest and worst religion on the planet is neither Christianity or Islam. It is stateism. And that is the belief that there's a so-called higher authority that has the right to not only create laws for you to follow, but to enforce them with deadly force if necessary. Even if you don't consent to the laws. You don't consent to living by them. You don't consent to the idea of being ruled by those people. And we see it in every conservative's podcast or video. They talk about how free they are, but promote slave masters. That's cognitive dissonance, flat out. Flat out. So, I don't know, man. I think that things are going to get a whole lot worse before they're going to get better. And the financial situation, I still maintain, will be the catalyst that gets all the other balls rolling. All different kinds of shit hits the fan going on at one time. I do not know what shits will hit the fan, but I do know that there are lots of dominoes to fall, and once that financial moment comes, the rest of the dominoes are going to fall, and lots and lots and lots of people are going to be fucked beyond recognition. For multiple reasons. Their own stupidity being among the top 5 reasons. So, hopefully enough people out there watched Bear Grylls and understand that you have to boil the water. So anyway, this is just like a rant video for 4 minutes now. I mean, the events are getting to be like this London thing. I mean, in 10 days, they've been supposedly attacked 3 times. And do you buy the shit going on in London, or do you think it's the state up to their old problem reaction solution tricks to usher in a hidden agenda, or not so hidden agenda? What do you think? I think that's exactly what's going on. I also think that these attacks will begin to take place in with more frequency here in the United States, again, to usher in a hidden agenda. So, be looking for that. Be looking for the bottom to fall out on the financial front, because it's going to happen. Should have already happened back in 2008, and every tool the Federal Reserve had to prop up this system is going down the drains. So anyway, I hope everyone has a good evening, and remember, you kill the state and live free. You don't have cops molesting your high school kids or suffocating them to death in class, or the government telling you what you may and may not treat yourself with, or any of the other stupid bullshit that they do every single day of the week. So kill the state and live free.